The World Health Organization has declared a swine flu pandemic.
6 deaths in this country now linked to swine flu.
National emergency of swine flu.
They have cases of swine influenza in people.
We have 2 new outbreaks of the swine flu to report.
We begin with swine flu.
Or swine flu.
Swine flu epidemic.
Swine flu outbreak.
Swine flu is a national emergency.
Swine flu, also known as influenza A H1N1. This 2009 influenza flu is a strain related to the 1918 Spanish flu, which was the deadliest pandemic to date, and the 1957 Asian flu. This virus was first detected in Mexico in March of 2009 and eventually made its way into the U.S. by late April, having a couple cases in California and some in Texas. Days later, the World Health Organization calls it a public health emergency of international concern, which is a level 3. A few days later, they bumped the outbreak up to a level 5, one level right below a pandemic. By then, 7 countries, including Mexico, America, Canada, New Zealand, the UK, Israel, and Spain, all had cases of influenza A, and deaths were starting to be reported. On June 11th, the World Health Organization finally declares a full-blown influenza pandemic with 28,774 cases and 144 deaths in 74 countries. This virus was showing up on all 7 continents and in all 52 states of the U.S. On September 15th, the FDA approves the H1N1 vaccine and is then distributed, yet there are still many countries acquiring the virus at the time. Exactly 2 months later, around 65 million people were vaccinated. The drugs that were used to treat the swine flu were Tamiflu, Rapivab, and Relenza, the same drugs used to treat seasonal flus. But by then it was too late, because the second strain of the virus was already making its way around the world, as well as the double infection cases. By the end of 2009, 208 countries and territories have reported cases, and until recently discovered, there was about 123,000 to 203,000 deaths from the virus. The World Health Organization finally called off the pandemic on April 10, 2010. During and after this pandemic, the world was in an economic recession, many of the countries losing a decent amount of their GDP, since most profit off of tourism, travel industries, and food industries. After this pandemic, it was decided that the swine flu became one of the many viruses included in the annual flu vaccine. Since the most recent data comparison of swine flu and COVID-19 was released, it seems that the coronavirus has impacted and killed so many more people in the past couple months than the swine flu in a year. I think this is due to a government and leadership action. I believe that the Obama administration did a much better job of taking care of the outbreak than any other administration would have done. Global health was severely impacted by this disease, but if acted any differently, then it could have ended much worse. I chose this topic because not only was it a global health issue and that it correlates with what's going on in the world now, but it also has had an impact on my life. In October 2009, both my brother and family friend Timothy Raymond contracted the virus. My brother was in 8th grade and Timothy in 7th. Though I was very young, I remembered that month was very hard on my family and theirs. As my brother got better, Timmy was in the hospital getting worse, and he soon developed MRSA, making it almost impossible for him to breathe on his own. From his beginning encounter with the virus, he spent months in Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, going through many treatments that have never been performed before and going through many surgeries, his last one a lung transplant. His trial with his new lungs did not last long when his fight ended in March of 2010. But throughout his journey, our community and many others were there for him and his family, raising money for their bills and his treatments. The reason I chose this topic is that in our class we talk about global health and how it impacts the world, but I also wanted to show how it impacts individuals as well.